You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's Game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season up till now, maybe they've gone to the playoffs, but you can still grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
Today's episode is brought to you by Booking.com. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today.
Well, the Rays maybe a little too late, but they sweep the Toronto Blue Jays in the last home series of the season, so that was great. They inch back up to 500. That is great, but can they make the playoffs? Probably not. Likely not, but there's still a chance. I looked up the playoff odds the other day. I think a 0.6% chance, according to Fangraphs. What happened in 2011? Miracles are out there, baby. Let's will it into existence.
They're out there, but there has to be some semblance. I mean, this is going to be so difficult. Again, it's really cool that in a season where the whole fandom has just been hit in the face with a Buick.
This team has been mid for 6 months.
Exactly.
It has been as mid could be. If there's anything we can say about this 2024 Rays team, when we do a postmortem, is they have been consistently average.
Incredible.
From game 1 to game 162. It's really remarkable. That might be more amazing than what the Phillies are doing or the Dodgers are doing, that they really stick to their guns of, we're going to be 500. And it would be very, I don't know, ironic's not the right way, but it would be very fitting if this team ended the year at 81-81. And I could legitimately see it.
I mean, yeah, you've got 6 games left. If you win one and lose another, there you go. You got yourself an 81-81 record. They're 78 and 78. So, look, obviously I am not on the path that this is going to happen, but in a season, like I was saying, that everything seemingly has gone wrong, except for pitching injuries. That has not been an issue. It's crazy that this is our disastrous, and a possible below 500 or 500 or maybe one game above 500 season has us all grabbing our hairs and thinking, why are you doing this to us, universe? That's pretty cool. And we have to recognize that, because there are other fan bases that would kill to be in this position where with 6 games left, you can still kind of dream of the impossible, which is pretty neat after 6 months, that you can still have that option.
That is true. And Ulises, we went to the game.
Yeah.
On Sunday. It was a magical experience. I was surprised, believe it or not, by the show out from the crowd. Almost 21,000 in attendance, with it being football season, the Bucks playing at 1, everything else going on. People really came to the Trop on Sunday and supported the ball club in the final home game of 2024.
It was nice to see. People know, hey, it's the last one. We're not going to get into the Trop for another 6 months. So it's going to be a minute before you can actually, taste the good food in there and have a good drink and be in the best warehouse that has ever been built.
Yes.
To play baseball. So yeah, it was nice to see, but you also got to see old friends. How about Ryan Yarbrough trying to spin it against his former team? I mean, he was looking good, and by looking good, I mean he was grooving 87 mile an hour, forcing fastballs and the Rays were not able to capitalize on that.
That's what he does. And I honestly forgot that Ryan Yarbrough was on the Blue Jays because he's bounced around to a lot of different organizations. And I think when it's all said and done, he will get his pension with that 87-mile-an-hour heater of his. I mean, he's gone from obviously spent the first 5 years of his career with Tampa Bay, then Kansas City, then Los Angeles, then Toronto within a 3-year span. Where's he going to be next year? Who knows?
I'm calling Brewers.
There we go. That's a good play. We'll take a early break, but I want to get into the Trop experience a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. And you know what? If you want to have an experience, you can go and download the booking.com app, people. And you're going to get yourself an experience, okay? Because this episode is brought to you by booking.com. Booking.yeah. All right. You got to explore the U.S. cities. I know the season's coming down, so you might not be able to watch as much baseball as you could have in July and June, but there's still some cities that could potentially have some baseball. I know the Detroit Tigers that are coming in, they probably want to have some October baseball. But if you're not into that, there's football. Okay, you can go to Indianapolis and watch Kevin's Colts perhaps win a game or two. Why? Well, you can go to booking.com. It can help you book a stay, whether it's a high rise or a bed and breakfast, a vacation rental, whatever you might want. Booking.com has it for you. And remember, the right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rival. So today, go get yourself a nice vacation using the Booking.com app today.
We also want to tell you about FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. That is America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. I'll repeat it again. FanDuel.com is the place to check that out. All right. We're going to talk about the Rays series against the Blue Jays a little bit, but I first want to touch on our Trop experience. Ulises, you were at the game. I was at the game. Buddy AJ was at the game. Your mom was at the game. And we saw great group of listeners. The Wilbur family was at the game, driving all the way from St. Cloud. And what I posit to the Rays is, hey, if there is a family or a group of people driving from an hour and a half, 2 hours away, find a way to lower their parking prices. That's all I'm asking. Just lower by, $5-10. Is it really going to hurt you that much?
I think that's a great incentive that we could try to put here. The amount of mileage that you got to drive in order to go to the Trop, that means as much of a percentage that you need to get off from the parking.
Or if you carpool, I know the Rays are very progressive with certain things. So if you bring 2, 3, 4, 5 people in a carload, truckload, discount that ticket price, baby. You are
talking to someone that is getting to be a little bit of a veteran here at the Tampa Bay region. And I remember here, Pepperidge Farms remembers too. Yes. When you could go to the Rays parking lot, I think the main one is like lot 6 and lot 1. But lot 6, and I think all of them, if you had 4 people in your car, it was free. Parking was free. So, I mean, that's like 2007, 2008, 2009. Like, it's been a minute. But that used to be a thing. Bring it back, bro. Like, bring it back, and you're going to see more people going to the I don't know. It just makes sense.
I'll tell you what, too. I'm loving, because I have never attended, I don't believe, a final home game of the regular season. And what they did with discounting some of their food products and adult beverage products was remarkable. When I just jumped for joy when I saw a 16-ounce daddy soda was $5. A 25-ounce daddy soda was $7. Like, that is the only thing you have to be careful about is not indulging in too many before your long drive home to
Right.
wherever it is. But I am going to circle that, bookmark it on my calendar, go to the final Rays home game of the regular season, because I just assume that they're trying to get rid of their food and beverage inventory. I also saw peanuts for $4. Like, those are prices we should have on a regular basis. Of course, it's not going to happen, but I would very much enjoy that.
It was nice.
And
It was nice.
who
And
knows?
also,
Maybe they made some more. Maybe people bought 3 or 4 beers instead of one. Maybe the Rays ended up on top in that respect.
maybe. Also, not seeing Rays baseball look, we got 6 games left. People we got 6 Rays baseball games. That's it.
That you know of. Hey, if the Rays win every single game and get a bunch of help from a handful of other teams, there is a slight chance that they make it to the dance.
The fact that we would need to define what bunch of help means by multiple teams with an Excel spreadsheet means that we don't have more than 6 Rays baseball games left. But regardless of that, let's enjoy it. I enjoyed it being at the Trop. We're not going to be at the Trop for a long time. So, hey, right. I'm glad we were able to be there and witness a sweep, which, this team, it's been tough to do that, especially with this offense. And there are guys that are stepping up, and a guy that we've always talked about that would most likely hit if just given the bleeping chance was Jonathan Aranda. And Kevin, I think you've shown us that he can hit.
He can, and we'll discuss Jonathan Aranda. But first, we have to tell the audience something very important, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike some of the other apps out there, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. Did you know that? So that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks, your picks are still live. That is just one of the many cool features. There's so many cool features. I can't rate them all, but I just wanted to highlight that one right there. So go ahead, download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Yes, Ulises, as you alluded to, Jonathan Aranda making a strong, impression at the tail end of the season. Mm-hmm. Hit a home run on Friday.
Yep.
Hit a home run on Saturday.
Yep.
Hit a home run on Sunday. And those home runs were needed because every Rays win was decided by one run in that series against the Blue Jays. So not only was it'd be one thing, I mean, regardless, it's still impressive to hit a home run in every game of a series, but those were important, critical, clutch moments that he did what needed to be done. It wasn't a 10-2 blowout one way or the other.
Right. Yeah. And I know those count too, especially for your padding your stats, but these are the ones that, you won the game, bro. And, right. And, I know Brendan Lowe also got into it in this weekend. He hit 20. Hey, we have a guy who hit 20 this season. Yep. Let's go.
Hey, his option is definitely getting picked up. Is he going to be with the Rays after that option is getting picked up? To be determined. But I am pretty strongly sure that you can't forego that option if you're the Rays.
It would be pretty nuts. It would be pretty nuts that the guy that gets voted in as a team MVP does not get his option picked up. Like, that would be pretty nuts. And he was selected as a team MVP right before the game. They had a little ceremony, which was nice. Hey, Trey Morgan, friend of the pod, minor league player of the year for the Rays. That's pretty cool.
Hey, don't spoil too much. Those might be a couple topics coming up later on this week.
Maybe. Yeah. But no, Aranda, like, he's just look. Can he make it? I've already said even if he hits the heck out of the ball, I feel like he's going to get traded. I think his really good performance just might earn you a little bit more value on the trade aspect of things if you're keeping Yandy and Brendan Lowe.
Okay.
Now, if one of those guys goes, I could potentially see Aranda sticking around. But if you're picking those options up and you're planning on having them in the opening day roster, I don't know how Jonathan Aranda can occupy a spot if those two guys are in there.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, opening day 2025, how confident are you that Jonathan Aranda is on the opening day roster?
10 being he will be a starter in the opening day, and 1
10
definitely
being
not.
he'll be a starter or on the roster. 1 being, great what you did these last couple weeks and getting extended playing time in action, but we have ideations on finding a way to ship you off to boost other portions of this roster.
I'll say 4.1, 3.8.
Okay. So you're leaning towards him being traded.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's tough because we've talked about Jonathan Aranda ad nauseum, and it's a case of the defense is suspect, which means he doesn't really have a position unless you make him a first base DH guy. Well, the issue is, like you mentioned, Ulises, you have Yandy, you have Brandon Lowe. So unless he does some hardcore training this offseason to whip himself into shape defensively, to man second a little bit more, man third maybe in a spot star, maybe get him some corner outfield action, he's basically limited defensively, and you hope he would, wherever he goes or wherever he plays, that he can hit enough to be a corner infield first base DH guy. But I think the key for Jonathan Aranda is there's nothing else for him to prove at the minor league level.
No.
He's, I think, a 2-time AAA All-Star. You look at the AAA numbers and he knocks the cover off the ball. And now what we're seeing and what we've been asking for, what Evan Klosky's been asking for, is give him and some of these other prospects extended looks. And it's a case of, the season was pretty much in the toilet this year, so this was a perfect opportunity to give him those looks. And hey, dude, let's see what you got. Let's give you 3-4 at bats a game. Let's give you some consistent regular playing time and see what you can do. Because I feel like with these guys that get called up and you're getting only a couple at bats a week. You don't know when you're starting. You don't know when you're playing. You don't know where you're playing. That is very difficult for anybody and everybody. But when you are basically telling this guy, hey, you're brought up, you're going to have a spot in the lineup. Yeah, you might get an occasional day off here and there, but you're going to get at bats. He can thrive with that because you can't just sub a guy in for an at bat here, at bat there, pinch hit here, pinch hit there, and expect him to be productive. But when you give him a chance to see major league pitching on a consistent, regular basis and get used to that action and that level of play, you see what he can do. Caveat, look, we've seen many players that go on for a run and that look really, really good for a small start, small sample size, and then never live up to anything. But Jonathan Aranda, I think, has the makings of, and I guess I'm contradicting myself from what I've said previously, but based on what I've seen the last couple weeks, go back to the last 7 games, last 15 games, last 30 games, he's going to find a way to smack the ball around. And he's shown that. And I honestly didn't think he had as much power as he's shown lately, because you're talking about, like, he's a big guy, but easy, not trying to, he doesn't swing overly hard, but still he's able to generate the bat speed and the exit velocity and the launch angle to notch at 410 feet, no matter where a pitch is located. Okay. Yeah. His wheelhouse is down and in on a slurve or a breaking ball or a fastball, but he can go up and get a 94, 95 fastball above the zone as well and do damage to it. So that's appreciative.
No, of course. And with the extended playing time, I feel like with Jonathan, we've always known that he can hit, and you're correct on the defensive side of things, because then it would be putting like a Harold Ramirez at third or at second base, and we know that they're okay with it putting him at first and right field. So hey, if Jonathan Aranda can do that, that's fine. But one of the things that I was that when you were talking, it reminded me of it is, that when Junior Caminero takes over third, and the whole thing was Well, you had to move Isak. You had to make the move. You had to open a lane. I don't believe that still, and I don't think I ever will, because Isak Paredes is the wrong candidate to say that, hey, we have to move an all-star offensive guy for a team that doesn't hit anything, and
Right.
the player himself plays two more positions.
Yes.
Second and first. You can't tell me, well, we gotta trade Isak. No, you don't. No, you didn't. You didn't have to open the lane. You could still have Junior and Isak in the same lineup. But regardless of that, with Jonathan Aranda, maybe the same is true. If you need offense and Jonathan Aranda gives you offense, and Brendan Lowe is one of your best hitters and Yandy Diaz is one of your best hitters, well, then it's your job to make sure that these three bats can make it into the lineup.
Right.
Now, how you're going to arrange that, that's your job. That's your job.
That's why you get paid the big bucks as the manager and the front office team.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, if you need offense, and this guy has been proving that if with extended playing time, he can be that guy. Why do you need to choose between Lowe, Yandy, and Aranda? Can you just have the three of them and then figure out how those puzzle pieces work? I think you still can.
And they're going to have to do something because, again, if you get rid of Yandy or Brandon Lowe to insert and make a spot for Jonathan Aranda and save money, I understand that. But where are you going to get that additional offense from?
Right.
It's the same thing of trading Isak Paredes. So at some point, you've got to build up to this offense to the point to where it's not 28th or 29th in team OPS and home runs and runners in scoring position. So you have to have some mainstays. I think that if you can find a way
that with Yandy and Brendan Lowe included. So you take one of those two guys out, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah. So you better get some sort of haul in return for one or more of those guys. And maybe, again, it is a directive. Look, I don't think Jonathan Aranda will ever have the look or a profile of a stud defensive player with a great body, but maybe that's what you really preach to him this offseason. Hey, you've done really great these last couple of weeks. We love what you're doing, but you want to take that next step, next level, get in the best shape of your life, start taking ground balls for hours with Rodney Linares, and try to make yourself at least serviceable at a certain position and see what happens there. I mean, guys, we've seen it time and time before, a lot of times with the bat, but you can make a big transition for the positive with 4, 5, 6 months of off-season work. So maybe that's going down to the Dominican Republic, playing in a Mexican league somewhere, finding a way to get those reps and to be prepared for making yourself more valuable and multi-purposeful as well. I mean, maybe it's a case of he doesn't really have a position, but you move him around and look at what the opposing hitting group has and say, hey, where are they going to hit the ball to the least, and stick Aranda there and see if it works out.
I always go back to the same example because it's just so good. It's such a great story. Marcus Semien was horrible with the glove when he came up at shortstop. He was just god awful. He was basically the anti-Taylor Walls. Dude became so solid with the glove. Yeah, and then he was then moved to second base, but a very solid glove. But before he was moved to second at shortstop, he became an average shortstop, And if you have Marcus Semien's offensive production, average is all you need, baby. That's all you want. So it can be done. It can be done. So Jonathan Aranda can hit. Can his defensive, even if his defensive metrics are like just okay, the reputation is there of like him not having a glove. So can you go over those, that idea, that image that has been created for you, and that you're better than that? That would be nice, because the Rays really need offensive help, as demonstrated by 156 games.
Yes.
And you cannot just give away the only guys that can hit just because you want to.
No, that's fair. And last point we'll make before we wrap things up. One thing I did notice for him to work on and improve upon, and I guess it's kind of a good thing in a way, is protecting with 2 strikes. And maybe part of it is that he's more or less a rookie player. He doesn't have that experience, or he doesn't have that reputation from other umpires. But if it's in and around the zone with 2 strikes, you got to swing at it at the very least, try to foul it off. But I guess I'd prefer that than wailing and flailing at curveballs or breaking balls that are, a foot out the zone, like a Jose Siri or something like that. So I guess my point is, I think he does have a good approach at the plate. It's just about those with 2 strikes, you got to choke up on the bat a little bit and foul those iffy pitches off, because they're not going to be called balls against you as if you were Juan Soto or Yandy Diaz or something like that. You're just it's just how it works. You got to kind of prove yourself at the big league level before you might get those calls going your way, so to speak. But good to see Aranda heating up at an opportune time. 782 OPS right now, 6 homers, 13 RBIs, 6 doubles in 38 games. So we'll see what he can do the rest of the season. We'd love to see that OPS get above 800 by the end of the year. So at least we can say that as well. OPS plus of 121, I may add with that too. All right. Anything else? Did we tie everything up for the most part from this weekend? I think we had pretty good pitching performances as well, obviously, by the final scores of those games.
Tigers are coming. Tarek Skubal is going to be difficult for the Rays on Tuesday. They have really good starting pitching and relievers as well. They don't have a lot of offensive production that you can be scared of, but they're in the hunt. They have a better record than the Rays. Obviously, it's an easier division, but we'll see. 6 games left. Enjoy the heck out of these 6 games left. Monday's off day, so enjoy the pod for Monday.
In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.